Hello everyone, welcome back to the Najafi Code YouTube channel. First, acknowledge before we start anything if I am audible. Can anyone just acknowledge once if I am audible? Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Shushma, Aniket, and Das Gupta, and everyone who have just acknowledged. And as you all know, that today happens to be the session number 3. We are discussing Spring Boot Spring Framework from absolute scratch. And before I start, I would like to also mention that those who have in the comments, and many of them have requested me on the messages also, please start with the Spring Boot. Of course, the entire course will be based on the Spring Boot itself, but initially first we are trying to understand about the Spring framework in general. Fine. So we'll be going ahead, we'll be working with the Spring Boot only. This is Spring Boot sessions. We are just building the fundamentals. I have considered that majority of the crowd is freshers, or maybe even if you are professional new to the world of Spring framework. By that consideration, I have started this entire course. And of course, yesterday there was a gap in between, and today we have a session, and tomorrow also we will have a session. And most probably I'll make an announcement that from next week onwards I'll arrange in a way that 4 days continuously in one stretch, so that you can be regular to the class without any gap in between. Of course, because of the yesterday's 1 day gap, you may miss the link and connection, so I don't want that to happen. I'll announce a fixed dates every week, fixed days, fixed timing, so that you can be regular and punctual to this live classes of Spring framework. So having said that, let's get started. But before that, as Adi says, do subscribe the channel, hit the like button. Please like this video. That is one of the motivation for me to start and complete this entire course. So I need motivation. The motivation could be you liking the video, your comments, and also you are sharing this video with others who want to get into the world of software development. So having said that, let's start the journey and continue our discussion. So I'm just sharing the screen. Great. So in the day 1 of the Spring discussion, we had discussed something about fundamentals. Only the fundamentals about Spring framework, idea about what is framework, what is Spring all about, and what you can do with Spring framework, some of the features, advantages, all the discussions we had in the session number 1. And in the session number 2, before we use the Spring framework, first we try to understand what is the meaning of dependency injection and loose coupling with respect to the Java program without even using the Spring. So as I have mentioned, the entire thing with respect to the Spring is the main idea behind Spring framework is to achieve how to decouple the dependencies which we have between the classes in Java. That's the major thing here. Whenever you talk about the Spring framework, to achieve the loose coupling, to avoid the dependencies, dependency injection. So what exactly is that? First, we try to understand with respect to the Java program, and that's what we have seen in the last program. Now, in the session number 3, we are actually getting into Spring framework. With respect to the code. We will be starting the code. We will be writing the program using the Spring. Now, in that 2 approaches are there. XML approach. What do you mean by XML approach? I'm going to give you the clarity. We do have annotation approach. Fine. So throughout this entire course, till the last class of this entire Spring course, I mean, until and unless you keep supporting me, I'll keep continuing these classes. So until the last time, we are going with the annotation approach only. That is only the industry demand right now. No one wants you to know about XML, but however, by chance, if you have been deployed in some other project, you should be aware of XML. So I'll give you glimpse of XML also by writing the first approach with XML only. So maybe today we will see the XML approach the first time and maybe probably the last time of using the XML. Fine, that approach we'll be seeing it today. And then after that, we'll be continuing with our discussion throughout the course using the annotation only. Fine. So I'll just give you idea about which is also easy only. It's not quite difficult. And if you face difficulty with respect to XML, you can come to one conclusion that, okay, going ahead anyway, we are going to use annotations. So need not to break our head. Fine. So it's from step by step we are moving in this course. I don't want to hurry. I want you to give the clarity, not to finish the course. So session number 1, what we have discussed, I hope it is clear. Session number 2, what was our agenda? I hope it is clear. Now session number 3, what we are going to do. I hope that is clear. Fine. Anish Gopal asked one question here, that is this frameworks being developed by Oracle or Sun Microsystem? No. In the very first session I had told, it is not being developed by Oracle or Sun Microsystem. It is developed by Rod Johnson, Spring.org. Many organizations gone. Now currently the owner of this framework is VMware. That is the present owner of this. And also we have a certifications, after which if you feel like to be Spring Boot professional, then there is a certification provided by VMware. You can explore that. How for Java we have Oracle certification, Microsoft provides Python certification, we have cloud certification from multiple companies. Similar to Spring certifications is also there. Spring Boot professional from the VMware, the current owner of the Spring framework. Fine. So let's go ahead. And again, I repeat, today is the first and last time we are going with the XML approach. Again, we will not be going ahead with this XML approach. Now, why XML approach? What exactly it is? Just to reiterate the last terms which we have discussed in the last class. We want, if we have a Java classes, Java programs with us, these are the Java programs with us, and the idea of the Spring framework is we no want to create the object, we no want to achieve composition here, which we have seen in the last class also. We want our Spring framework to manage this in that inversion of control, IOC container, inversion of control, to take care of object creations and also to manage all the dependencies. We don't want to do that. For that, you have to write the programs, and these programs you have to give it to Spring IOC that you please take care of these programs. I'm not going to take care. I'll not be creating the object. You have to take care. Fine. And for which you have to write the programs in a loose coupling way by following the strategy design pattern which we have seen in the last class. It's always good to code to the interface rather than having the direct implementation. You can watch it, and if you're watching the recorded videos, whether this video or the previous videos, you can watch it in maybe 1.5x speed also, so that 1 hour of session you can complete in 30-40 minutes, and that you can do it in 1.5x speed whenever you are revising the concepts. Now, how do we inform the Spring framework or IOC container that please take care of the dependencies, please take care of the object creation, manage my classes? How do we do this? This information giving to IOC, we call it as metadata, information about the code. Metadata means information about this code. This information we have to give it to IOC. We have to give the classes, we have to give this information. And how do we give the information? That which class objects Spring has to take care, which classes Spring has to manage, which dependencies where to inject, which is a target class, all of that where we have to inform. Two approaches we can give this metadata, this information to IOC. Number 1, XML approach. Number 2, annotation approach. It's like using these approaches, we are just informing IOC. IOC, these are the classes which you have to take care. These are the dependencies which you have to manage. Which dependency, which is a target class, which object, where to inject. All this information we have to inform to IOC so that IOC can take care. And how do we do that? Using XML or using annotation. Usually going forward, we are going with annotations only. Only today we will see the XML approach, because you should have an idea also. Since we are starting, we are trying to learn everything here. Is that clear, my dear friends? Can we go ahead? Making sense? Great. And someone, if trying to achieve directly attending today's class, kindly just rewatch last class, at least if not in 1.5x, at least in 2x speed, so that you are aligned with me. So can I just go ahead? Thank you so much for the acknowledgement, Jayashree and others. Thank you so much for the acknowledgement. Now, before I get into the coding, two more important things I would like to explain as a fundamental basics of this class. What is that two more things? I want to talk about two things. Number one, jar files, a basic. Number two, I would like to talk about Maven. Now, going forward, maybe out of all the free sessions, one session exclusively I will take on Maven build tool. About this tool, I'll talk, but since today I'm going to use it, whatever is required to understand the classes till I reach the Maven class, whatever is required, that much I'm going to clarify today itself. How much ever is required for us to go ahead in this course, I'm going to specify today. Moving forward, we will have a separate session on Maven also. Fine. And also, I'm going to talk about jar files. I hope if you have worked with servlets, JDBC, you are aware of these jar files. And those who have not, I'm going to give you a basic idea. Java RQ files. Java is owned by currently Oracle, and it was with Sun Microsystem. All of you agree. Fine. They have written so many inbuilt classes to support us, and those classes they have kept in different packages. SQL package, util package, like that. We have net package, we have lang package. Java team has kept it, and whenever we want to use those classes to reduce our coding burden, what we usually do, we just write one import statement at the top of our programs. Do you all agree with this? This is what we do if you know the basics of code Java also, my dear friends. Yes? Great. Now, there are something which is not from the Java team. Maybe I want my Java program to get connected with the Oracle database. I want my Java program to get connected with MySQL. I want it to get connected with MongoDB. To establish the connections, we are not going to read everything hard coded. Some codings have been done. Fine. And those codings have been done by those third parties, Oracle team, MySQL team. They are like, we have done the coding, you please add it. Now, all that coding has been done by them, not by Java team. If it was with the Java team, then Java team would have added in some of the packages like util we have, SQL we have, like this. Some other packages it would have been added. Since they have done this, what they have told is all the classes which we have coded, all these classes you have compiled, and these dot class files we will give you together to you. Whenever you are creating the project, right, in that project, please add all these codings so that you can import easily. If you don't add these files, then you cannot import, because these files have been coded by different teams. Maybe if you want Java to be connected with Oracle team has been done, MySQL team, MongoDB team, Microsoft team, they have done the coding for that. And they told like, oh, you are a Java developer, is it? You want to get connected to our company's database? Okay, we have done the coding. You can use those classes. We have done the coding. You can use those classes. What you can do is, please add these jar files in your project. So the jar files is like a collection of all these files, collection of all these dot class files in the different packages. They have kept it. Those files you're adding into your project, because those codings they have done it, not by Java team. So they are not there in lang package. They are not there in SQL package. They are not there in any other package. So we have to take those files and add into our project, and then you will be in a position to use those inbuilt classes. Fine. Now for a scanner class, if you want to take the user input, do you need to add jar file? Not needed. Why? Because that has been done by Java team itself. You just have to write at the top import java.util.star, no, or scanner class as star, because that has been done by Java team and its own packages. It has been maintained. But there are some other classes which has not been coded by Java team, some other third party team, and that you want to use it in your project. Then those files, that particular third party team will keep in jar files. The jar files you have to add to your project. And if you know a bit of JDBC or JEE part servlets, you will acknowledge with me. If not, whatever I've said, it is sufficient for you to get one basic idea about that. Fine, my dear friends? Yes. Good, Jayashri. It's a group of library classes. 100% true. Great. Fine. Now, what is Maven now? Before that, Spring is also not owned by Java. It is also third party only. So there are some of the classes which you want to use which has been coded by Spring. It is not there in any of the packages of Java. Then that jar files also you have to add it into your Java project, which will be developed by Spring team. So if you want to work with Spring is not owned by Java team, not by Oracle or Sun Microsystem. A different third party thing it is. So they have also kept the jar files. Now, whenever you want to work with Java, you will be creating the Java project. And if you want to work with Spring in that, you have to go to the Spring and all the jar files are there. No, that means in the jar files, they have all the coding files in different packages, context package, many packages they have done it. Those files are there. How we have util package, SQL package, they have also written some code and they are not owned by Java. So what we can do is they have kept in this archive files, Java archive files. That archive files we have to add into our project. We have to add it manually. We have to add it so that we can use these features. Fine. Now it is a headache. It is a headache. Not just about the jar files. Sometimes whenever we are developing the project, many things we have to manage apart from just adding the third party jar files. Coding files in simple terms if I have to use, which has been done by someone else. Maybe Spring team has done the coding. That I want to add it to my program. They've kept in jar files. Those files I have to add into my project. Making sense, my dear friends? Yeah. So what we can do with that? So these things we have to do manually. Or not just that, many other things are there whenever you're developing the project, which you have to do manually to reduce our burden, to make our life simple. We have a build tool called as Maven. We just have to inform where is that jar file. Maven itself will download and will upload that into our project. We need not to do anything manually. What to do, what exactly where it is, that's it we have to tell to Maven. It's like supporting. It's a build tool, and according to me I can call it as it is the tool which can be used to develop a software, or in general I can say software development tool, which will help in many cases to make our life easy. If you don't use Maven, then you yourself have to create the project. You yourself have to go to the different places, take the jar files, add manual to the jar files, and then make it work with you. All that work we need not to do if you go with Maven. Maven will take care. It's just a support to us. We just have to inform how to inform. Practically, I'm going to show in the code. Need not to worry on that. It's a build tool which is just helpful for us to make our life simple. That much you understand today. Going forward, once you are little bit have a good hold of Spring into development zone, I'll be taking care of the entire discussion of Maven. I'll try to explore that in detail. Is that fine, my dear friends? With that note, can I go ahead in my project? I hope the fundamentals which are needed to give you complete clarity. Is it clear? Great. So if you're not skipping and if you're there from starting to end, I hope you will be in a position to learn the things. Fine, my dear friend. So let's get started here. Keep all these things which I have told in mind. Wonderful. Yesterday we had written something similar only. I hope you could recall that programs which we have written yesterday. Yes, great. Fine. These are the programs which we have written yesterday. And we have learned the dependency injections basic. If you don't know that, kindly watch that video in 1.5x or 2x speed. In half an hour, you can complete and then you'll be in a position to understand this. So let's create the project. How do we create the project? File, new. Are we creating normal Java project here? If you create, then all the things headache you have to manage. I know what. There is a better tool, Gradle. I hope you have heard somewhere. It's like a tastier version of Maven. So it's not like if Gradle comes, Maven is gone. No, it has its own. People are using that also. This also. In going forward in the course, I'll explore both the tools. Okay, need not to worry on that. So if you just see here, you have so many options. Scroll down, then there will be Maven option here. In that there is a Maven project. Click next. After which there is an option here. Use default workspace location, or if you want to be in some other drive, you can give that. That's a basic thing. Create a simple project. Skip archetype selection. This you created. Create a simple project. Check mark that. I'll say here next. Now group ID is equivalent to package. So com dot Najafi code dot, and I'll give the project whatever you call it as, maybe beans, and archetype ID maybe I'll say here 01, or maybe Spring 01 Spring project. Okay. So I will just tell here as finish. Or screens blur, no problem. Whatever I've just told, with that also you can manage it. See here, right side Spring is there. 01 Spring project is created at the top left, if you could able to notice here. When we write the code, right, I will be in a position to increase the font. You will be in a position to see the screen. And we are initial. I have just already got the LAN also. Maybe Wi-Fi sometimes it will have issues, but anyway, LAN once it comes moving forward, there will be no problem. And as I've mentioned, next week onwards, 4 classes in one stretch will take, so that the continuity will be there. And of course, once LAN I add, the issue will not be there. So anyway, you can notice there, once Maven project is created, pom.xml file will be there. Here is a place we have to inform Maven that what he has to take care. We have to inform the Maven what it has to take care. Making sense, my dear friends? Yeah. So I want to use the code which has been done by Spring team. It's not part of Java. So those files, don't you think I have to add into my project? Yes, I have to add. So do I need to add manually if I am going with the Maven project? Do I need to add manually if I'm going with the Maven project? Om Prakash, we will see if he is ready to come. No. So what I'll have to do is, you have to go to one website. You have to just search MVN repository. I'll take you there. I hope my Google screen is visible. I will just tell here as MVN repository. And first option, Maven repository will be there. Click there. And out of this, what I have told you Maven is not just for Spring, it is a build tool in general, which will save a lot of your time. So I am using Maven for my Spring project. I'll mention here, I need to work for Spring context. Spring context, you have to type. And once you type the Spring concept, you can make a notes also if I'm telling this, so that it will be helpful for you. Exactly, Jayashree. It's like we will not actually dependencies. We will see that in the XML file or annotation way. It's like for project dependency, you can say we are informing that what is needed for us to Maven. Maven will take care of that. So Spring context, if you search, first option will be there. All the versions of Spring will be there. If you use newer versions of Spring from Spring 6, many of the classes which were deprecated back then, they have completely removed. Example, there are some of the classes, XML path resource. There are some classes which were possible to use back then, even after the deprecation, it was deprecated. But still you could use it. I will practically show that here. But after Spring 6 came, those classes you cannot even use also. It's out of the deprecation also. So I'll use some maybe 5, some random maybe 5.3.14. If I just click that version, if you see, if you just scroll down, there will be some code here. Click that, it is copied already. Copied. If you just click that code, you have to get your pom.xml and within your project, please add it. And dependency is added, and this dependency, whenever you add any of the dependency, you have to add this dependency under a tag called as dependencies tag. So I'll add it here, dependencies tag. So all these dependencies must be between these tags. So I have added this. Then, sorry, there is a spelling. I think this is the wrong spelling. That's the reason. So it is dependencies. Yeah, I've added. Fine, guys. Now see here. After I add it, please see very carefully. I'll save it. The moment I save, see here at the resource, you don't have any jar files here. But after I save it, that means it is being added. You will be positioned to note something here. See, you have something extra, Maven dependencies at the left side. You can see Spring context, Spring AOP, Spring Bean, Spring Core, Spring JD, Expression. All these jar files have been added. Now you can use the classes which has been coded by Spring team in your Java project. If you don't add these jar files, can you use the inbuilt classes which has been coded by a team of Spring? No. But now you have added the jar files. Have you gone to the website, downloaded the jar, then manually added to your project? No, we have not done that. Where that is present, what version I need, I have just informed to my Maven. How did I inform? In the pom.xml file, I have added the dependency. Hey, look, Maven, this is my dependency for this particular project. Please do the needful for me. Maven has downloaded everything. He has only added to our project. Is it not making our life easy? No. Maybe there is small screen here and there, but it will be available once the video is uploaded. And I have already got the LAN. Last session, maybe here and there somewhere you can see blur. As we go ahead, the blur issue will not be there once LAN is added to me. Fine. So need not to worry on that part. Okay, the quality will improve. This is just the third session, and we are going to have so many sessions of this. So going forward, I'll be having the class with little extra setup, and these things will be taken care. Apology for now, but for now, so for whatever I'm telling, at least are you able to hear, and is it making sense, my dear friends? Yes, Anish, you can do that. There is no harm in that. Now, my dear friends, Where to write the program? You have so many folders here. First folder is there, no, source/main Java. The first folder, no, there, right click, create the package. Even if it is not visible completely, small context. If I say this, if you know Java, you will be in a position to do that. So package you create, package name I'll give it as Najafi code dot beans. Okay, I'll finish. Package is there. And if you could recall the last class, what has to be written, same thing I will write here. I will write the classes which I want to work with. I'll say here credit card A, or whatever name you want to go. Maybe credit card is a one class. And of course, I had first interface. So let me create the interface. If you are not there, you can rewatch in 2x speed and then you can align here. I'm going to write the project. Even if not, you can understand this. I'm creating one interface here. Name of the interface is iPay. So added my interface, and inside this interface, I will have an abstract method, Boolean type, whatever is the name, it's up to you. Make payment, which is accepting the amount. Fine, my dear friends. Now other classes, see the agenda here is, if you are not there in the last class, I'm making an application which is a replica of maybe making payment. If you have visited supermarket, fuel station, restaurant, anywhere, if you go, what options you will have to make the payment. If you choose one, that option should work. If you choose credit card option should work. Something replica and simple codes of Java, just to convey the concept. Yesterday I have done same thing without Spring, now with Spring. That's the only difference. Now I would like to implement this here. I will say here implements, what is the name, iPay. So I will add the unimplemented methods. I've added this. Great. And I'll give one more option here probably. That option is maybe debit card. Once I start annotation, I'll take more examples for everything, guys, so that it's XML. And last class also we have discussed the example, so I'm just taking this. So again, I will like to implement this here. Implements iPay interface. So I have to implement the unimplemented methods. That means I'm implementing iPay. That means I have to give the body. So I'll give one simple message also here in both the classes, system.out.println. Maybe I'll give the message as making payment through credit card, and amount is, and, or I'll say bill is okay. I would like to just add plus what is the amount I have taken there. Same thing, after which I'll return true. If this method is executing successfully, I want to give the status as true, that this is successful. Same thing I would like to do with respect to debit card. I'll not give the option of UPI, which I had given in the last case. And I would like to, oops, there is, let me just cross check here if I have done mistakes. No. Of course, I'll just, oops, yeah. And I'll make the message as debit card. Basic two classes which are implementing. So am I writing the direct implementation, guys, or am I coding to the interface? Thank you so much, Hyder Abbas. He's one of the engineer in the Amazon. Thank you so much for joining us. There are many people from different firms who have joined this session. These words, comments always motivates me to do well for whatever I'm doing here. Fine, guys. Anyway, I'm coding to the interface here. That's fine. Everyone, great. I would like to create the main class. I would like to create the main class here. I'll give it as launch app number 1. I would include this. Fine, absolutely fine. Now, guys, last case in the yesterday's session, when we tried to understood the loose coupling and dependency injection only in Java, we have tried our best to maximize loose coupling, but still at some stage you have to create no object manually. You had to go with the composition at some stage. Entire application without creating object manually is not possible. But if you are using the Spring framework, how much ever classes you have, you need not to create object of any class. You just have to create the object of the class, need not to create any. That means everything will be managed by Spring framework itself. The entire idea of Spring framework to decouple the things. And if Spring framework is creating the object, managing the dependencies, then you are achieving 100% loose coupling. So you are not doing any composition here. If some class is deleted, there will be no dependencies. You are not creating any object there. Fine, that is what we are trying to do here. So I would like to create one more class which we had last class also. Payment process class. Payment process. You will understand this also, guys. And within this class, I will say here private iPay is the interface name. iPay. And using the setter, I will set the values. Void. I would like to say here, maybe I will generate the setter from the Eclipse itself. If I do any mistake, it will be a problem. I will ask my Eclipse to generate setter for me. I would like to say, please generate setter for me. It will give the setter. Done. And I would also like to create the object. I would like to call the method. So I'll say here void process payment. Process the payment. And in this particular thing, I would like to collect the amount from the caller, double type amount. I would like to take this. And now I will say here using pay, I will call the method, make payment method I'll call. And whatever amount I'm receiving, that I will pass. And whatever status it will give, I will store that status in Boolean type status. And then I will say, if in case, if the status is true, I will, if you are not there in the last class by any chance, I will give you the control flow of this program here also. Need not to worry on that part. So I'll say here payment success. Payment success. Else I'll say here. Else I'll say here system.out.println. I would like to mention payment paid. Fine. Now I'll go through the entire flow. Need not to worry. Now, my dear friends, apart from the main class here, we have 3 major classes: credit card, debit card, payment process. 3 classes also will not be creating the object. I will make my Spring to create the object. Fine. I want Spring to manage that. And how do we do it? We will see. But before this, I have a question for all of you. Whenever you create an object, constructor will be invoked, right? That's a constructor invocation and a constructor invocation also. Yeah. So I'll be writing the constructor here just to demonstrate that object is created. I will not create the object. If Spring IOC is creating my object, don't you think this constructor, whatever I'm writing here, will be executed? And if this constructor is getting executed, it means that object is created successfully. So I will just create one constructor just to demonstrate that object is getting created. How will we know that object is creating or not? For that purpose, since it is the first program, to show you the proof, I'm writing one. Maybe say here object is created by, maybe I'll say here, Spring IOC. One message I will create. So I'll say here maybe read card object is created. Similar to that, I will write this constructor in almost all the classes, whichever I want my Spring to create the object for. So that with this, I can show you proof that I am not creating the object. So I'll give the message here maybe. And similar to that, I would like to go to my payment process also. And here also, I would like to write constructor means same class that of the name must be same that of the class name. So I will say here payment process object. Great. So I'm writing this constructor, though you can do any of the activities here, that is not at all the problem. That's one side of this. So make payment is getting some error. Okay. Is there any error here? No. Is there any error here? No. Then there should not be any error here also, unless you pass something. For time being, I'll comment this. We will see that later. We'll debug this. Now, anyway, apart from that, now guys, I will not create any object. I'll make my Spring to create object. How do you do that? First thing is, you have to inform Spring. Look, there are certain classes you have to take care of. There are certain classes you have to create the object for. How do we inform Spring? Java classes are ready, which has to be managed by Spring IOC. Now, I have told you very clearly, I have to also inform my Spring IOC through two ways. Which are the two ways? XML annotation. And today's class, for the first time and the last time, I'm going to use XML. Going forward, we will use the concept of annotation. So I will inform through the XML that you have to manage it. Fine, my dear friends. So I will just inform. So here in the resources, I'll create a new XML file. So I'll say others and XML. If you just scroll down, there is an XML option. There is an XML option. XML file. Next. So I'm giving the information about beans. I'll give the name as bean. Maybe bean.xml. Beans.xml. What do you mean by beans? Last class I've told. Bean means a normal Java object, a normal Java class, which is not created or managed by you as a programmer. It is created and managed by Spring IOC. Whichever class object is created by Spring IOC, managed by Spring IOC, that we call it as bean. For an instance, I want credit card, debit card, payment process, all these classes to be managed by Spring IOC. So can I call these classes as beans? Can I call these classes as beans? Yes. Great. Great. Now, please see here. I have to add some of the data here in the XML. If you're using one more tool is there to develop the Spring application. Eclipse is there. Apart from that, we have multiple. You can go with IntelliJ, and also we have something called as STS, Spring Tool Suite. There, if you just right click here and if you ask for XML configuration, XML file to give the information for the configuration purpose, it will generate all the data also there. Default code will also be present, but it is Eclipse, it is not there. So need not to worry. We have a Google uncle for this. So I will go to Google. Okay, I think this screen is not visible. Yeah. I'll ask my Google uncle, Spring Framework XML configuration I need. I have searched. I've asked my Google uncle, please do this need. So first option it has given me. There, if I just scroll down, there is some files here. That code I'll copy. This beans information I'll copy. I'll go back. I'll tell you, just search in the Google Spring Framework XML configuration. First option only will get from the Spring. Docs.spring.io is the resource. XML schema based configuration will get. If you click that, if you scroll down, there you have an option of beans and all. Take that, copy it, get back to your code, and you just paste it here. This is the metadata about beans. You have to be there within this beans only. Within this beans only, you have to write bean tag for every object you want your Spring to manage. Example, in my project right now, how many classes I want my Spring to manage it? 3 classes: credit card, debit card, payment process. So 3 bean tags will open within the beans. It's like I'm informing, hey, this is the beans you have to manage. These classes will be managed by you. These classes I will consider as bean. Fine, my dear friends. And at the start opening tag of bean, I will inform first ID. ID equals to whatever ID you want. So I will be like credit, since it is for credit card. And then what is the class? The class fully configured name you have to inform. I mean, the entire path you have to inform, not just the class name. Fully qualified name we call that we have to pass along with the package names. So the entire package name. Okay. So I will inform here com dot, where is that class I have to manage that information. It is there inside this package. Najafi code dot beans dot, what is the class name, guys? What is the class name? Credit card. Fully qualified name of the class. This class, it is present where? All the information. Now if I just say this, Spring will understand, okay, this class I have to manage, is it? Okay, I will manage. And whenever you want to use that, no, you have to give Spring, hey, give me the object. How we'll say to Spring? Using this ID only. This is one key. It's a communication key between you and Spring framework. Hey, please give me the object. Which object? You have told me to object 3 objects. Which object you want? I'll give this ID name there. Making sense, my dear friends? So I want it to be for all my 3 things. So I'll be writing here. So I'll give the name here as debit. And here I'll give the name as maybe PP. Whatever you feel like. What is the class I want it to be? I want it to be as maybe debit. And this I want whatever name of the class I have given. I think I have given payment process. So it's like whichever class I want my Spring to take care of. Am I clear, my dear friends? Yeah. Now I have informed my Spring. I'll save all my projects. Now my Spring will take care of this. Now Spring will take care. From Spring, how will I ask? Okay, all the information I've given. Now 2 approaches are there here which you can use it. One is old approach. If you are well informing the Maven that which jar files you have to download. If you have given the information more than 6 version, then whatever starting 2 lines I will write, that code will not be there. If you have given after that, that code will be there. Fine. So I'll just inform here. I will just say here, please see very carefully. Exactly at 9 I will finish because I have other class from exactly 9. So I'll just inform here. How do I inform? I'm going to create some of the objects here. So I'll say here resource type resource equals to new class path resource. Now this I'll inform where is the information present. I'm informing Spring now. Hey Spring, go and create the objects, go and manage the beans. Spring like okay, where is that present? I'm telling this, please do that work, and also informing that is present inside beans.xml. And I'll import it here. I'll import it. Now guys, I'm importing it. See, import org.springframework.core you are getting. That means, is this classes developed by Java team or is it classes developed by Spring Framework team? Spring Framework team. And how I'm able to import? Because I have added the jar files here. Did I add the jar files manually or I made my Maven to do that for me? I made my Maven to do that for me. I asked my Maven to add the jar files. Maven added. Since Maven added all the required jar files, now I'm able to use the classes which has been coded by Spring Framework team. I'm being very cautious. I'm using every simple term, going step by step. The only thing which is needed is focus from all of you. And now next I'll inform. Now if you just inform this, Spring will understand. Okay, some information is there, it seems, in the beans.xml. Based on that, I have to do some work. Spring IOC will understand that, and Spring IOC will take care of it. Fine. Now please see very carefully. I'll ask bean factory. Okay, give me that object which you have created. Reference I'll create factory equals to, and this class is deprecated class, guys. New XML bean factory. XML bean factory, and I'll say the resources. In place of this, you can in the resource now you can directly create this object. New class path resource. This entire thing you can pass here itself. That's anyway. I think it's XML. Yeah. So let me just import these things. I'm able to import. You are able to see the strike line here. Strike line is, it is deprecated. Till Spring 5, it is at least deprecated. I have heard somewhere in the article that from the Spring 6, it is not present only, it seems. You will not have option of importing only. What is the other way? I will tell you. This is one of the way to get your Spring to create object for you. I'm telling like, oh, please create the object. Now I will say here, you have created the object, is it? Get me that object. I'll say here factory dot, get me the bean. Get me the bean. Which bean? I have to inform now. Which bean? I will inform which bean. ID which I have given, credit bean. And here the dot class name of that. So I'll say here credit card dot class. Credit card dot class. See guys, with these 3 lines, I'm just asking my Spring, hey IOC, you have one work now. What is the work? I have told you it is present inside beans.xml. Please go there and do the needful for me. Spring will do it. And then I'm telling, okay, whatever bean you have managed, no, you have created the object, no, get me that bean, get me that object. I'm telling here. I'm giving which object now? Spring will say if you don't say this. By these 2 lines, Spring will create all the objects. It will manage all the dependencies. Now, whatever you want, then you can ask it here. Please get me the bean. Which I have created 3 beans. I have created 3 objects. Which one you want? I'm telling I want whose ID is credit, and this is what I wanted. Now here, let me run the program. Run as Java application. I'm getting the message CC object is created by Spring IOC. Now, my dear friends, in the entire project, all the classes I will open. Did you create object of credit card anywhere? Anywhere have you created? No, I have not created anywhere. Nowhere I have created. Did I hard coded the object of credit card anywhere? No, I didn't do that. Who did? See, the constructor of credit card is getting executed. That is the proof that the object is getting created by the Spring. That's a proof. Yes. And this is the older approach. What is a new approach? This is deprecated approach. Thing is saying don't use that approach. What is that approach? Application context. Application context dot maybe I'll say here whatever you feel like. It's up to you what you would like to give. Context equals to new class path. If you forget these class names, Google Uncle is with you. If you just ask, please give it. In your company, everywhere, you're not giving any exam. You're doing the project. You can anytime ask the Google uncle. So I'll say here XML application context, application context, application context. And here I will inform about the beans. Where is my beans file? I'll say here beans, or what is the name I've given? Bean, I guess. Beans.xml. Beans.xml. I'll import it. We usually use this only. Fine, my dear friends. Yeah. If not, you can use this also. If not, you can use this also. It's up to you what you're using. It's up to you what you're using. Is it making sense, everyone? Yes. Now, what is the reference I've given there? What is the reference? Contacts. So I'll say here contacts.getBean. Now it will create the bean for me. See, if I'm getting the message, this message here, it is creating all it. I'm not giving. See, it is creating all. For CC also, for DC also, for PP also. All these three things. Fine. So basically, the agenda here so far is, did we manage the object? Did we manage the object? No. I know you may see the process is little lengthy. XML file, all that headache. Why? You'll understand once you read the complex application, how difficult it is to manage the object creation by yourself. Apart from that, I have told you, today is the first and last class of me using what? XML. We will go with always annotation approach only in this entire course. In the interview also, they'll ask about annotations only. As a developer of Spring Boot, you should know about annotations only. But just to get one idea about XML, I have just told it. Fine, my dear friends. Now, I want to do the dependency injection. Can we do it? Yes, of course you can do it. Within this, which is a target class, payment process. If you want setter injection, then you have to use one tag called as property tag. If you are doing the constructor injection, then you have to use constructor-arg, which you can explore. Within this property tag, I'm going to inform. I'm going to say the name. What is the name I've given, guys, here? This name you have to inform. Where you have to inject. Yeah, this name. This name you have to inform. Where you have to inject. This name. Fine, my dear friends. This is what I have informed. This pay is the name. No, this I'll inform in the XML. Name is pay. You'll understand that. I'm going step by step, my dear friends. That's it. You'll understand that. Property name, pay, and what is the reference? Reference, maybe I want to inject credit card. What is the reference? Credit. So in this case, credit card object will be injected here. Which object will be injected here? Credit card. So if you call this method, yeah. Oh, it's uncomment. It's not just working it. Sometimes the commands will not work in the way you are expecting. Anyway, now pay has the address of credit card. Pay.make payment means you are invoking credit card payment, make payment method. So if you say here property pay, inject debit, that means debit card object will be injected to the target class. Making sense? Now here I'll go to the main, and here also I'll inform. Thank you so much, Adi. Thank you so much, Zabi sir, for your comment. It really motivates me. Thank you so much. It's a way I will speak the Shirabdi. he has asked that what is the difference basically between XML and annotation. I will show that. Let me show you the approach of annotations. Then I will show you that also. Need not to worry on that. I'll show you that part also. I'm injecting here. Fine, my dear friends. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. Now here I have informed. I want a bean of what is the ID I have given there for payment, guys. Pay PP, I guess. Yeah. I will say here PP. And what is the name of the class? Name of the class is payment process. I have other class at 9, but anyway, where means I take Java and Spring Boot classes at the Telesco Learning. We have Java Spring Boot courses there. I have some session at 9, so I'm just going there anyway. So I'll be just taking here payment process type PP. Now using that, I'll say here PP dot I will invoke a method called as process payment. PP dot process payment, and that amount I will call it. I'll amount maybe 100.5. From it will create the object, it will give you. Using that object, you are calling this method. From here, control will go here, and you'll get the amount 100.5. And pay has the address of which object, whichever you have injected here. Right now, I've injected which object? I have injected credit card object. So which will be executed? Credit card will be executed. Let me just explain this. Let me just run this program. See here, object is created by IOC, making payment through credit card, and bill is this. Payment is success. Now I will inject debit card. So what I have to mention here? Debit. That's it. So debit will be injected here. Debit address will be injected in the pay. It will be injected in the pay. So if you say pay dot make payment, it is calling make payment method of debit card. Making sense, my dear friends? Yeah. So in the entire code, whatever code I have written here, did I create any of the object? No. Did I do the dependency injection by myself like I have done yesterday? No. Everything is managed by whom? Spring. So you have less dependency. You are not creating in your Java files. Did you hard coded any of the objects? No, you have not hard coded. If someone deletes any class by chance, then you'll not get affected because you are not hard coding any of the classes. Maybe inside this credit card, are you creating the object of debit card? No. If debit card is deleted, this credit card class be affected? No, it will not be affected. In the payment process class, did I create the object of credit card or debit card? No, I'm not creating those objects. By chance, if someone deletes those classes, will this payment process class will be affected? No. So there is no dependency here. This application is loosely coupled application with no dependencies. And in the process, you have seen object creation part is managed by XML approach. And this is one of the way I know compared to actual Spring how easy right now it is. I have showed difficult one using the XML. In the very next session, I'll be showing you how to do it with annotation. Fine, my dear friends. With that note, I would ask you, and I would like to say thank you so much for joining me in today's session, wherein we have seen about Spring IOC and setter injection through the XML approach. And moving forward, I'll be showing the constructor injection, setter injection, variable field injection, use all the annotations, everything through the annotations approach only, and you'll get more easy. Today's and yesterday's class were linked with each other. And if you are watching the recording, kindly rewatch those videos in 1.5x speed at least, so that you can get the complete clarity of this. Fine. So I hope you have got how I've made Spring to take care of object creation and to manage the entire, objects. And whichever object and classes is managed by Spring, what we call them as beans. So credit card, debit card, payment process, all these are my beans now, because object creation of those classes and everything is managed by Spring IOC. So I call them as my beans. With that note, I would like to say thank you so much for joining me again to motivate me. I'll be covering as many concepts as possible moving forward. Next class, we will say the same things and even more with more examples with respect to the annotations. Thank you so much again, guys, for joining me. Thank you so much, guys.